Hey guys, what I want to talk about in this video is how to install a new sprinkler valve. Now, if you already have an existing valve and it's just leaky or if it's not working properly, the easiest thing to do is to just replace the whole thing. And there's a number of reasons why that is. One reason is because they're so inexpensive. I was able to pick this one up from Home Depot for $12, so it's really not that big of an expense. And the second reason why you want to just replace a valve if it's failing or leaking is because it's very simple to take out and to install a new valve. Now you can fix an old valve if it's leaking. There's generally rubber gaskets in here that you can take the part of, these will unscrew, or there's little screws up here that you can take off, and they sell replacement kits for rubber gaskets and the other internal components that are in here. But the problem is that because most valves sit in direct sunlight, if you have a valve that's been exposed to direct sunlight for a number of years, the plastic's going to be pretty hard and brittle, and it's going to want to crack easily. So these are not going to come off easily. If you go to unscrew this, you're most likely going to have to put a pair of metal pliers on various parts of this, and if it's been sitting in direct sunlight and is cracked and is brittle plastic, then you're most likely going to do some damage to it. And even if you fix and replace the rubber gaskets and internal features in there, it's probably not going to last you a whole lot of time before the whole thing fails anyway, because it's becoming dry and brittle. So really, the best and easiest thing to do with your failing sprinkler valve is just to replace the whole thing, and it's really easy to do. The only parts that you need are, behind me you can see, you have your main line that comes in from wherever the main line is in your yard, and then you have the line that goes to all your sprinklers. And all you have to do on a valve in order to know how to install it is find the little arrows. You can see on here there's a little arrow that says the water should come up from your main line into here, go through the system, and then it should come down into your other line where the sprinklers are going to be fed. So it comes in, the main line comes up, and then it goes down to the sprinklers. And all you have to do to install a new valve like this is to just grab two of these from your Home Depot or Lowe's or hardware store, which has a 3/4 inch threaded side, and then it has a coupler side, which is just clear. There's no threads or anything in there. This side fits onto your standard 3/4 inch pipe, just like this. And what you need to make sure you do is you have to cut your old valve off at a equal height on both sides. You got to just use the snippers to cut the old valve off, and then you have to make sure that you put these little plastic pieces, that you screw them into the valve before you put them before you put these on to the pipes, because if you put these onto the pipes first, then you're not going to be able to screw them on afterwards, obviously, because once this is in place you can't turn it, you can't screw it left and right. So it's a simple matter. You just use your Teflon tape, you tape both of these up a 1.5 turn or so, and then you screw both of these on, and all you have to do is know which side is your main line. Just pretend there's Teflon tape on there. Which side is your main line, and which side is the line that's going to go out to your sprinklers. So the only other step that you need to do is to use your PVC pipe glue, the pipe cement, go on the inside of both of these, go on the outside of both these, and you want to do both at once because you can't really install one and then the other. And the only thing that you're going to be lacking here is you're not going to get your full half turn on this if you just go on top of this. So you're going to want to make sure it's really nice and evenly covered inside and out when you do your cement, because you're going to just put it straight down. You're not going to be able to turn it too much. So once you get your glue in there, all you have to do is just snug it down in place and push it on, and away you go. And now you have your valve that's attached properly, and like I said, you need to have the main line come up and into the system, and then go through and then down to where you're going to be feeding your sprinklers. And if your old valve should have had wires that were connected to the system, they may have been inside a little tube, a little grease tube, which just is an electrical insulator that makes sure that the electricity is going to go through the wires and not in anything else not going to be shorted out, or it might have a little wire nut on it, or it might have some black electrical tape. But if you take the old wires off of the old valve and you just twist the new wires onto the old electrical wires that are going to the valve box, then the system will just start up again. All these wires do is they feed into the electrical box, and the electrical box tells this one to open and close the valve so water goes through, when water is supposed to go through and when water is supposed to stop. So this video is not going to cover how to set up an electrical box for a sprinkler system, or how to interface the valves with the actual sprinkler box and how to set it, because there's so many different types and they're all a little bit different, depending on the type of box that you have. So that's going to be a subject for another video. And this one's just simply to cover the installation of a valve. So hopefully, if you do have, like I said, if you have a broken valve or one that's leaky, hope you can see it's really simple to just take out the old valve and install a new one. And if you want, you can go to your local Home Depot or Lowe's or where you buy parts, and you can buy a new rubber gasket set if it's just a leaky valve, and you can take off the components and then install the new system and see if it works. But like I said, if it's exposed to direct sunlight for any number of years, that plastic's going to get hard and brittle, and you may end up damaging it while you're trying to take it apart, and the valve's probably ultimately going to fail before too long anyway. So for $12 and a couple simple steps like that, it's really not difficult to just reinstall your own valve.